Welcome back. What I want to do today, do a little bit of training because I know that instead of me just documenting everything, I want to obviously give some free advice as well. So this is something that I've used with many clients because I see so many people that struggle with understanding their niche. And a lot of people just say, oh, it's just the old you. But obviously we have so many things going on in life. It gets to a point where it's really difficult to cut down exactly what you think. And what I notice is most people then go to the worst parts of them and go, how can I share that? Unless you are very, very comfortable. With today's training, what I'm going to do is then take you through like how I would look at things and how I'd map things out. Now, this is like super useful. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm just going to tell a bit of my story and then how I would use that as if I was trying to, let's say, like be a fitness coach and help people in that range. Now, you don't have to get too deep with this stuff when you're actually selling on social media or let's say like making content. However, if you know your ideal client better, you're going to have a better idea of how they think and what they do and what types of things they might do so that then you can connect with them better. So this should be a really useful training. What we're going to do here, and I love using this diagram. So like if you ever need something to obviously like showcase your knowledge or like just work things out, this is a really good way of looking at it. So I'm just going to put in here my ideal client, right? Which is obviously, let's just say this is me, right? I know, for example, in my timeline, so if I drew a timeline out with the worst straight line in the world, I would look at this going from being a little kid and let's say to this present day. I knew that at my worst, and I'm going to move this up a little bit, my worst moments were the fact that like as soon as I emotionally, let's say like had a breakup or I used to get bullied quite a lot as being a kid because I was overweight. Those were like my worst moments. And then obviously that's where I ended up eating a lot of food to try and comfort things. So let's just say, for example, like here's my childhood. Obviously there's some dips in here. Let's say some worst moments, some good moments. And then obviously like this is where I got to here. Let's just say, for example, let's say I had a girlfriend there, right? And then with one of my ex-girlfriends, we did have a poor food relationship. For example, like we'd try and be a bit healthier and then we'd lose 2 pounds and we'd order a pizza to celebrate. So as you can see, that went backwards, right? When we broke up, I generally felt very lost, right? Because I'd put a lot of time and effort into the relationship and really was trying to obviously make things work. And so obviously that was when I was at my lowest. And then obviously noticing that I was actually really not in a great place, I obviously then tried to rebound back. Let's say like meet another couple of girls, whatever, have some of those highs. And then when shit really hit the fan was when I realized actually I'm really overweight. I'm not happy. I'm not moving forward anywhere. I personally was an emotional eater, right? And I didn't have a clue about that until probably about a year ago. I'd never connected the dots. And this is what most people have the problem with, is that they won't realize they do certain things unless they are very, very self-aware. And obviously so much stuff goes on in life, you might just not notice the patterns of it. That was me at my lowest. And obviously these were the things like, let's say like meeting people or like, let's say achieving things in work, because I took my work, my career very seriously and I love like progressing. Also, like I used to ride bikes quite a lot. And obviously like if I'd had like a great day of the bikes or someone like that, created lots of memories. If I did like a big jump or a big trick or something. I remember the first time I did a 360 over a dirt jump, I felt like I was just like the king of the day, right? Felt incredible because for me going up as a lad, that I got into mountain biking because I couldn't play football anymore because at one of my low points I snapped my cruciate ligament. I then couldn't play football anymore. So I then went from having my hobby, which I absolutely loved, to then not being able to do it anymore. And mountain bikes were a softer way of being able to use my legs still. I've actually told that story very wrong. What ended up happening was my knees wouldn't work anymore. I had oscus latus, which was basically my ligaments weren't growing as quickly as my knees. And then that was what got me into mountain biking. So obviously I got into MTBs and then I put my foot down to stop myself at a jump. And because my ligaments weren't as good as my knees and weren't as strong, that's where I snapped my cruciate ligament. And then obviously that was where I then had weeks and months off of being off my bike. Obviously then put everything back into my girlfriend at the time and then my career. And then obviously this is where the kind of pattern went through. Like I just focused on that, had no external things. I wasn't looking after my health. This is me at, let's say, like my worst. So I'd obviously got to this point where we're going to call this like our baseline. And obviously I then realised that actually I wanted to go on a journey because who I am today, I wanted to be somewhere up here. That was my vision. And then obviously I wanted to be fitter. I wanted to be healthier. You'll realise my handwriting's terrible. I wanted to feel more confident. I wanted to actually like be a role model and a leader. And also I wanted to see if I could actually get like progress in my life and actually do something more because I just wasn't moving forward in my career. That was the turning point for me. And then obviously afterwards, that was then the journey I went on to obviously get in shape. If I was to carry this on, it would be like I got in shape. Then I obviously started my photography career. That was when I met the coach. Then that was when the business started taking off. A couple of years later, the business obviously really took off. I met loads of people. I gave loads of information, had the kids, like all of that, the rest of that journey. And that comes in this spell. Like if that was me today, day, there's obviously all the highs and lows on the way up to this point. But obviously this is how I'm looking at my timeline. Okay. If we've used that as like that was my journey, right? And we're just going to plug on the pain points here, right? So we could say here I was lacking confidence, I emotionally ate, and to some extent I was directionless. What we're looking at here is they were my main pain points, okay? So we're going to put these in red here because obviously they're not good. Now on the outside of that, what would happen if we turn that on its head and obviously gave you the thing afterwards that was obviously going to help you? From confidence, that turned into opportunities, because obviously when I obviously overcome that, then I had the opportunity to do more. Direction, I then had like a vision. So I could obviously see where I was going, what I was going to do. And emotionally eating, obviously, once I overcome that, I then actually became stronger, mentally. Obviously, that for me was like a big win, so that I could obviously move things forward. So now what we've done is we've turned our pains into positives. Okay, and obviously that's what, when we're selling to someone, that's what we're obviously trying to do. We haven't obviously spoken about the weight loss side of things, as I'm talking like the external stuff, other than losing 10 kilos, because obviously, yes, you want to lose 10 kilos, you want to drop the fat, you want to change your body, which is obviously a key thing, because your body is what then the vehicle that's going to take you forward. But I'm trying to talk about all the stuff around it, that it gives you a little variant of it, because like I said, most people aren't aware of the problems. The ones that are aware of it are going to sign up to you easily because they just get it, right? So what did this then create for me, right? I'm not going to go crazy filling this out because I don't want to make this video like stupidly long and then we'll be here for hours. And obviously this is the whole point. If you want to work with me, we'll really dig into this stuff with you personally, right? So what opportunities did it give for me? Now, obviously this for me actually allowed me to meet my now wife, obviously, so wife, but what I'm actually going to put in here is like to just make it more general, is like relationship, right? Obviously, I then left the bad relationship, and it wasn't necessarily bad, it just wasn't moving forward, and we ended our time. Relationship. Then it obviously started my business. Opportunities, I then had more opportunities to travel because obviously I had more confidence, had more money. Obviously we are now more confident, but at the same time, like my at the time, like my work started going really well, so like my career improved. Actual like growth mindset was a big thing for me. Actually, we're going to move that over here, and you'll find when you do this, you'll get quite a lot of things that actually like cross over into other stuff, right? Because obviously we're talking about the mindset stuff over here. Finally, actually feeling like fit and attractive actually helped me with my business, because actually where I was more confident and I felt more attractive to other people, it then allowed me to push forward and obviously start more communications and actually help more people, so that was obviously a big thing for me. Potentially you could obviously then put in here like became a role model, because there's people that have changed their life since working with me. So like, that for me was massive. The vision. So what it then gave me was clarity, which obviously I was really struggling with. Purpose. When I really went deep onto this, and obviously this is something that I massively help people with inside of the identity, is like why. A lot of people just think, I do it because, I want to help people. But the reality is people only want to help themselves. You can help people until they leave you, and then what's next? Whereas your why is something really deeply entrenched inside of you. And if you don't know that, that's why when clients come and go, it doesn't affect you as much, because it's not actually your deeper why. It then also allows a lot of people to say no, which is obviously a big thing, because you spend so much time just saying yes to everything to try and figure stuff out. When you know what you want, you then go, well, that's actually not part of my journey, so that's not going to help me. Also then it helps you see like potential, because obviously all of a sudden then you could see like the house you could live in, or like the area you could grow up in, or like the clothes that you could wear, the business that you can run. So, it gives you a lot of potential of like, what can I create? Also, like I'm going to put in here, because it's happened to me, like location, right? It's actually gave me the opportunity to be where I wanted to, and obviously living in a better house and so on. So stronger mentally, more resilient. Nowadays, actually, like someone said to me the other day, you're so laid back, it's scary. The fact is I just don't let things bother me as much as I used to. That doesn't necessarily mean that I don't struggle with stuff. That just means that where I was before and what I struggled with isn't as bad as what it previously was. It's then also allowed me to help people better, right? Because now I understand it and I obviously process things better. And now, because I know my ideal client so much better, because I know myself better, I can then help more people, which is obviously phenomenal. It's also allowed me to be a leader. If you're going to run a business and showcase this, you have to show up as a leader. Nobody's going to be attracted to someone we can help you get a little bit leaner. Like nobody wants that. Like nobody needs that. They need someone who's going to be like, yes, we can do that. And what else? So obviously we can lose the weight, but what's the key thing for you? Do you want to be there for your children? Do you want to create the business? Do you want to live in a new location? Like what's the thing for you that's really going to drive you forward? Stronger mentally, obviously growth mindset. I suppose like the clarity, but it's also then allowed me to actually work on more like personal development. I was before By the way, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please press it down below. We are going to be posting more brand and business content over the coming weeks. And obviously, as I share my story from failure to success. Also, if you are in the place where you need a little bit of help with your business, please go onto Instagram, drop me a DM. Let's start a conversation. I don't want to push anything at you, but I also know that if this is resonating with you and we can help you actually open up your business, attract more of your ideal client and actually get the results that you want, I'd love to help you sell without having to sell. I was actually in a place where I was almost scared to work on myself because I was like, what am I going to dig into here? Whereas actually now that's one of the things that I wake up and do. It's 5:30. I'm already working. I'm already doing this because I know that if I develop and showcase more of who I am and pass on all of the knowledge that I've got, I'm only going to help people even more and also achieve what I want. Just got like a brief map of what that's done for me. Now, obviously there is plenty of other stuff to this. For example, it's improved my relationships. It's improved my sex life. It's also allowed me to take on more opportunities. It's allowed me to, open a podcast studio, create my own gym. It's allowed me to help people that I didn't even know I could help. There's so much more to all of this stuff. And if you really split it apart, wear better clothes, there's all sorts of stuff that it's allowed me to do inside of like this transformation, right? So now if I can see that actually through me going through my journey and actually achieving those things, what has that meant to me? Because when we look at this as a fact of like, okay, I had no knowledge on food, especially. Training, I'd never done much of it, but like I could kind of understand why you would do it. And I always appreciated like sports people. And that's what I loved about this whole journey is I love progress. I love being around it. When I wasn't around it, it frustrated me. So I lacked the knowledge, and then I actually needed someone that could give me solutions. And obviously this is the main thing that you help people with a gym, with food, with time. And obviously time management's a massive thing. And then also like mindset, because obviously like we're not correcting people's mindset. We're allowing them to see what else they can do, right? So obviously that's the bulk of the content that you're going to produce in there, right? But obviously these are all of the bigger picture that if we zoom this right out, if I said to you, what's this worth? A lot. What's all of this worth? A hell of a lot. So when you look at this and obviously you split into who your ideal client is, your journey, and then what you can achieve for them. And obviously there is so much more, to this, like especially for females as well, like obviously depending on what sex you're looking at here. That is how I connect with my ideal niche better, so I understand them better. To the point now where I'm actually really sharp at picking up on backgrounds of like family, how they grew up, what their relationships were like how they interact with people, what their struggles are, because I've got to know my ideal clients so well that I can see the things before they've even said it and ask them questions, and let's say 9 times out of 10 they go, how did you even know that? And so the whole point of this is that I've got to know them so well that I can ask them questions that they're not even aware of, and then when they connect the dots with it, okay, you have got an insight into me, which makes you seem like some like voodoo king. At the same time, this is where it gets super powerful, because let's put it this way, if you put out some content and you can say, I know you're struggling in your relationship because you struggle to be selfish and do the things for yourself, but then you get frustrated and then act out in a way that's not congruent with how you want to act out. That's why your relationship's struggling. Now, let's just say there's someone out there, and I'm not going to pick on females, but let's say there's, just for example, there's a female there that's not saying what they need to say or acting how they want to act or actually doing the deep work to then solve that. They know that they're the one that's causing the problem in the relationship. And then that's what's then going to trigger them to then go, okay, what's this about? Now, you need to trigger people. Otherwise, if you're too soft with things, you'll never get to the point, and then you'll never break through the surface of what the problems are. This is where your content should trigger people. It should have that effect. But also what we want in that as well is obviously to add value. So we could say the way you can fix this is actually if you're more selfish and you put yourself in a happier, healthier place. You go to the gym. I see miserable people in the gym because they're having to work hard and they're having to push through all the boundaries, but they're growing. And when they come out of the gym, they've taken a step forward. There's another bit of progress. So that's where you're showing to people that, okay, you might be struggling with this right now, but if you do this and aim for this, and you're showing people where they're going, you're going to help people a lot more. Because instead of it just being, oh, you want to lose weight, well, yeah, if I lost 10 kilos right now, I'd be lean, but what does it do? Like me being leaner now, other than the focus that it gives me when I diet, it wouldn't really make any difference to me now. Like I'm comfortable in my own skin now. Like that's where I've got to. Have you actually shown that to your clients? Are you showing them that you've become so confident in yourself that actually you don't worry about your body so much anymore? Now what you're worrying about is like your personality and where you're going in life and what you're giving to people. So this for me is like a real big insight into like how you connect with your niche better, and then you strip it back to make it really simple. So for example, if I was going to be a fitness coach and I was just going to work with guys, I'd say guys lacking confidence and use food as a tool to get past the difficult days, and you want to be fitter, healthier, leaner, and finally have abs, that's my ideal niche, because I that was me. So I know them inside out, right? I can tell them what I did, and I can tell them why they're thinking like that, and it makes everything a lot clearer. I hope that helps. I tried to deliver as much value in this training as possible, but I'm trying to just deliver as much value as possible with this. So let me know if that helps. Please drop me a comment below if you found this useful. Hit that subscribe button for more, obviously, business insights and brand. We are going to be posting so much more, and I just want to keep delivering on this type of stuff to help more people.